and welcome back to Diagnostic and Repair. I'm your host, Captain Xavier, and today we are going to be repairing shotguns, apparently, because that's what I've been sent. First up, we are going to be looking at Stormbringer, which is a rough cut that has jammed, and luckily, whoever had it was not foolish enough to try to force it, because that is a really good way to break the rough cut. The gear setup that they have in here provides you with enough mechanical advantage that if you try to force it, you will break things on the inside that are then very hard to repair. So we're going to open this up and see if we can figure out why it's jammed and try to fix it. First of all, he's got the priming handle on there backwards. I wonder if that's it right there. That would be way too easy. Well, no. That wasn't it. Would have surprised me if it had been. Got it. Okay. I've figured it out. So this is the lock that was not getting disengaged. This is the prime lock. Which once you've primed it and pushed it forward again, this locks and it won't let you prime it again until you fired the blaster. And the reason it wasn't getting disengaged is because I assume, he had this on upside down. And it matters because only one of the plunger rods has this tab, and that tab is what releases that safety. So just by flipping this over, presumably when he had it apart, it came open and he flipped it over, and he put it on the wrong way. Now, when we put this on here, you can see that that tab disengages that safety, and that is what allows you to prime it. So there you have it. Simple fix, but those are the best kind. Very nice. Alright, so Stormbringer lives. The takeaway here is if something appears to be locked up, it's usually the result of a lock. Fancy that. And it's really just a matter of figuring out which lock and how that lock is supposed to be deactivated. And figure out why it isn't being deactivated. It definitely, you don't want to try to force it, because these things are made out of plastic and they will break. So it's a matter of moving all of the parts, figuring out how the parts interact with each other, which part releases what, and in this case, I just realized, okay, what is supposed to be releasing that lock, figured out that it was on the plunger rods, and then realized that only one of them had it, and that it was upside down. So it's just a matter of tinkering with the internals until you figure out why the lock that isn't releasing. So there you go. We'll get this shipped back, because I actually do have the box that came in, so that should make it easier. On to the next one. Up next, as I said, is another shotgun. We have an Atlas. And I have not had a whole lot of experience tinkering with these. It is also locked up. I don't know what modding was done to this. I don't know what troubleshooting steps they've gone through. So we're just going to open it up and see if we can't figure out what's wrong. It's almost certainly a matter of some lock is engaged when it should be disengaged, and we just need to figure out which one and how we fix it. This thing has definitely been opened. I don't know if they were planning to upgrade the spring or what, but the majority of the screws are already out. Well, with the shell off, it works fine. So that's weird. Okay, so the only thing in here that appears to be a lock is, again, the priming lock, which is this tab right here, this little white tab, which is disengaged when the plunger rod comes forward and forces this forward. So we need to make sure that that is in fact getting fully disengaged when the blaster is fired. So, what might be preventing that? Okay, so, I don't know why yet, but I have figured out the problem. The plunger rod, when all the way forward, does not appear to be fully engaging that release. Alright, I think I worked it out. And it has to do with the starting position of the gears, because the entire plunger assembly needs to be in the proper position, and it currently is definitely not. So you can, I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. But when this goes all the way forward, this is no longer pressing it enough, and this comes down a little bit. And it needs to not do that as much as it was. Now let's see if that has gotten it realigned. There it is! Alright. So I do believe it was just a matter of not having those gears in the right position. And with any of the rival springers, and I think most of the mega springers for that matter, they use a gear system in order to give you enough mechanical advantage to be able to easily prime the heavier spring loads or the double spring loads. And you have to be really careful that those gears are in the correct position, because if they're off by even one tooth, things like this will happen, where the prime lock is not getting disengaged. And so you can prime it once and then it doesn't unlock the priming mechanism. And it's just a matter of rotating a gear, or lifting up, pulling the teeth apart and rotating it one gear so that it gets fully out of the way when you go prime it. And then it will work. Lovely. Well, that one is all fixed. I will get it mailed back as soon as possible. If you have a blaster that you would like to have repaired and featured on this show, email me at captain.xavier.commissions at gmail.com. I use my commissions email address for these as well, and we can discuss it. If it's something I think I can fix, then I may accept it. If it's something that I don't think I can, because there's a lot of stuff that I simply can't fix. It's going to involve replacing parts that I don't have replacements for, or skills that I simply haven't developed yet. But if it's something that I can, then I'll tell you to send it to me. You're responsible for covering shipping to me. I will cover the shipping back. So it's a win for everybody, and hopefully this has helped some of you. Thank you guys for watching.